Hey guys, so welcome back to Riahs Tie-Dye, and if you can't guess what we're doing today, we're doing a hoodie, our first hoodie of the season, which I actually don't think I have any hoodies on our channel except for that one zip up that we did, but this is a pullover hoodie, and we are going to do a pretty classic design on this one, and I feel like IIce dye is always the best on hoodies. So we're gonna do an IIce dye swirl hoodie today. So I know you guys pretty much know how to do a swirl, but why not just be entertained and watch me do one on a hoodie? Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna use my trusty hemostat. If you don't have these or you haven't tried to use these for your swirls yet, they're super easy to use. They're pretty convenient, frees up your hands. I have links in the description box below for everything that I use. So if you need anything, look down there. You'll find all of that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And we're going to have fun together. I have lots of cool Halloween stuff coming up. Our very next video, in fact, is going to be a Halloween swirl series, but reverse dye. So we have 3 long sleeve black t-shirts. They're going to be bleach dyed, and then each one is going to have a different color swirl. So it's going to be pretty cool, but it's going to be all one video with 3 shirts, long sleeve. Everything's going to end up on my website. So if you haven't checked that out, it is www.riahstiedye.com. And pretty soon there's actually going to be a coupon code, so if there's anything on there that you're interested in, there will be a discount. You have to check out my Facebook though if you want that, because it's going to be posted only to my Facebook. So check out that. That's in my channel art and in my description. I believe it's also in my about page on here on YouTube. So check that out. Make sure you get that discount code because it's for a limited time only, and you can get some pretty cool stuff for a deal, of course. So let's get started. I always go for the middle when I do these swirls. You do not have to. You literally can pick down here for the middle of your swirl. You can pick up in the shoulder. You can pick anywhere you want on the whole hoodie. But for me, I love a classic middle of the hoodie swirl. So I'm just going to eye my hoodie. Make sure you get both layers of hoodie to clamp with your hemostat. If you only do one, it might look funky, but I'm doing about, I want to say it's a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4. Then I'm going to lock my hemostat, and we're just going to start swirling. So make sure that you're working with your pleats that create themselves. You don't want it too thick, but then again, we are IIce dyeing, so if it's really thick, it shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure you put enough dye and enough ice on there that it's definitely gonna go through to the bottom, because if you don't, it's gonna have a white bottom and then everything's gonna sit on top, but you'll have white highlights if that's something that you want to do. Just don't put as much dye or as much ice on it. That could look cool, actually. That's a good idea. One of these times I will do that so you can see what it looks like. But I am just swirling. This is not going to be a perfect swirl at all because it is a hoodie. It's pretty thick. But you guys know fall is coming up and I am a hoodie girl. I don't know if you know that about me, but I have tons and tons of hoodies. Every time I find one that I like, I buy it. I don't know why I just don't make my own. But I do know that the very first hoodie that I ever made was a liquid dye hoodie, and it did not turn out very good because it was a swirl. But I used liquid dye, and I used blue, green, and yellow, and I did not like it when it came out, but I still wear it because it's super comfy. So, like, you know, love my hoodies, and I have Under Armour hoodies. I have, geez, I don't even know. I have a Harry Potter hoodie, obviously. You guys know I love Harry Potter. The hood here is definitely a couple of layers, so you can do that however you want. I kind of just try to make sure it's not super bunched up, but it can be flat on the side, it can sit up. You just have to make sure it's going to be part of your swirl. And the best part is when you dye it, try to get half of the hood to be 2 colors because that looks super cool. And of course your sleeves are going to get that too. So that's why I love doing hoodies. You get so much more of a swirl on everything. So this is literally all you're going to do is you're pulling this in. Not to bunch it up too much. If you notice that it is bunched up and you don't like that, just push it down a little bit. This is a lot harder with liquid dye, like I was just saying, because if you use liquid dye, and I don't know, I get really nervous with liquid dye because I know that if I don't sit here and look through every single one of these creases and it's white, oh, it drives me nuts because then I got to go back and go through and get in between each crease, and it's fine. Like, it's definitely a lot of work, but they will end up looking cool. I actually did some for a customer in Las Vegas not too long ago, and they happened to love it. It was a white hoodie, and it had black, gray, and purple swirls with some white left over, and it actually turned out pretty cool. So this is pretty much ready. I know it looks like it's not done, but it is. We have sleeves, hoods, blah, blah, blah in there. So we're using our big old stretchy green rubber bands. We're going to slide this on here without ruining it. But you can see my pleats are super huge and kind of wherever they feel like being. So it's really not that big of a deal. It'll look cool anyways. Now, if you're trying to do like a super spiral, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's literally perfect pleats everywhere. It's not, all jagged and everything. It looks super cool. I have not done one yet. That'd be a good idea to try. I know it's a lot more extensive, I guess would be the word, than this kind of swirl, but it's definitely perfect pleats everywhere and it looks awesome. A lot of the pictures that I've seen of them are a lot of different colors, and they look really cool. So I'm going to use quite a few rubber bands so that this isn't going to go anywhere. And it's up to you. You can leave the hemostat in the middle if you want to. I typically don't, because I always find when I open up the hoodie, sometimes there's some white marks, and that's because this is locked in place and it's cutting it off kind of like sinew. But when you do pull this out, you're going to want to make sure that you're not ripping the fabric as you're pulling it out. So I'll show you here in 1 second. I'm going to take it out. So I unlock the hemostat. I try to spread it apart as much as I can. And then I hold my finger down here where the fabric is, and I rock back and forth. You still have to be very careful not to rip your fabric, but if you can spread it open more, try to. I haven't broke any of these hemostats yet, but I'm sure it'll happen. So I'm just pushing down on the fabric and pulling it open as it comes up out. If that's too much for you, just leave it in there. It's not that big of a deal. This is ice dye anyway, so you're not going to have to turn it over to put liquid on it. Unless you're doing ice dye or liquid dye, then you're going to have to. Alright, and then a couple more rubber bands. I am going to let this hoodie dry out because I'm finding that letting them dry out actually is a lot better for the dye because it still has soda ash in it, which it was soaked for 20-ish minutes and spun out in the washer. But if you let these dry out, then the colors tend to go straight down and not out. So if you're trying to work with like blue, green, and yellow, you don't want it all just to turn green because it's spread out. So if you dry it out, I think, or we're still doing this every couple of videos, but most of the time the dye goes straight down and not bleeding all over the place. So we're going to try that again. So we're going to let this dry out some, probably overnight. And then we're going to do some pie pieces. So my colors for now, you guys know that I change my mind sometimes. For now, I got a couple brand new colors from Grateful Dyes that I can't wait to use. I have Plum, which is actually really pretty. I try to look up other people's plum like shirts and hoodies and stuff, and it looks really pretty. And I got Bubblegum Pink. It's like a light pink. I have a couple coming from Dharma that I've never used before, such as Dancing with Raisins. I'm really excited about that. It's kind of a maroony color. I need some fall colors. So this one's gonna dry out. You don't have to let it dry out. Then we're gonna dye it. It's gonna sit, and then we can open it up. So I will be back. All right, you guys, so here's our hoodie. And this is a little bit damp on the inside, but otherwise dry. So we let this dry overnight. And my colors today are Baby Blue from Grateful Dyes, Royal Blue from Dharma, Plum from Grateful, and Bubblegum Pink from Grateful. So what I'm going to do is all of these colors are going to be in pie pieces, and I'm going to do it twice. So I'll do Baby Blue, Royal Blue, Plum, Pink, and then Baby Blue, Royal Blue, Plum, and Pink. So that's all I'm going to do. Then right after I do that, we're going to put our ice on top, which I won't show on the camera because you've seen me do it a million times. Just lay it right on top. And I have been recently putting these in a Rubbermaid tote with an elevated shelf in there, which has been working out really good because I don't want any muck for this one. We will do a muck dye one pretty soon, but for now, we're going to have this one elevated with the ice on it, and it will drip right into the Rubbermaid tote without saturating the bottom with the muck. So that's what we want. And after we do that, we're going to let it sit for 24 hours. Then we're going to rinse it with cold water to get the soda ash out, and you can gradually let it get a little bit warmer so that way you can get as much dye out as you can and do it until the water runs clear. And then we can open this bad boy up. So let's get started. All right, you guys, so we showed you how to tie-dye an ice dye swirl hoodie. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Okay, so pretty colors. We use Baby Blue, Bubblegum Pink, Plum, Royal Blue, and then again. And then this is the back, just so you know what it looks like. This one was dried out, so we were pretty much hoping to see a difference in whether it's damp or dry, and we're going to find out here in a second. So we have a comment shout out winner, but this time it's going to be a little different. So Billie Jean, you comment on pretty much all my videos, and you have given me so many suggestions, I can't really pick one yet. So it's going to be a surprise. You've given me a lot, so let me surprise you. I will pick which one, because you have, like I said, given me a lot of suggestions, so I'll pick which one that I'm going to do for you, and it'll be a surprise, and you won't even know it until I do it. Congratulations. Here is the hoodie. Alright, so we got the hood. Ooh, that's pretty. We got highlights throughout it too because of the dark colors on the bottom. This wasn't a muck, by the way. This is just the way that the dye went through with the ice. And I'm dripping all over my table. So, the hood itself has plum and royal blue and pink in it. Swirl's pretty much got all of them, or the sleeve has all of it in there. The back. First hoodie of the season. Pretty proud of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep commenting the stuff that you want to see. You could be a winner. And happy tie-dyeing.